Dion was not on the ice. It's just maintenance, so he's playing tonight. That's fine. Burrow's not, but he was on the ice at least, so that's the first step. 12 forwards, and here we go.
What happens when you take Turris out of the mix?
You know, there's Turris, and there's also, without naming any particular center, if you take one of your top two centers out in the NHL, it's a gigantic hole. Period. It's just, and then Turris, specifically him, is speed, and we're not a fast team. We play fast, so we compensate for the fact that some teams are faster than us, like Detroit, Montreal, Toronto, and Jersey, for instance. We know that. We're aware that just like the Rangers were faster than us in the playoffs. So we play a way where we compensate with the puck by playing very fast. We transition extremely fast. We break out fast, and so on. And defensively, we have a team defense that tries to prevent the other team's speed to pick up. When we don't play that way, then we let the opponent have their way, which is what happened to Montreal. So when you have more speed in your lineup, like Turris, you keep the opponent on their heels rather than they keep you on your heels. So you have more tools and more firepower, not necessarily to score, but to keep that momentum and that speed and put the opponent on their heels, because he could be gone at any moment. Like him and Zinger, if you look at last year and this year, together as a pair, they worked really well. And it's tough to play against that, because you know that the minute that you stop them, the opponent, then they're gone, and it's a 2-on-1, it's a breakaway, and so that's huge, because the opponent now has the fear, rather than we have the fear of their forwards, like Montreal last game. When we open it up, we let their speed get through, whether it's the breakaway or Gallagher going around us, then it's us that's doing it more to the opponent. So that's the Turris's attributes that really helps us. His face-off percentage is extremely high. Right-handed face-off, left-handed face-off guys, matchups, and all that stuff. It's gigantic, the impact of it, the power play and all that. So that's Turris, but in general, you lose one of your top two centers. Like you don't replace that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm putting this correctly, but like they don't grow on trees.
No, it's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is. You're right on. It's you can't, like, you will have Thompson, let's say, or Pager compensate, and we're okay for a while. But yeah, you can plug guys there, but the plug guys there and is not getting the same result, because now, like I said, it's a domino effect. Pager will do his thing, but he's not going to get the same offensive chances as Turri's going to get. Now Tarmer, instead of being a fourth line guy, is going to become the third line guy, and then who's taking the fourth line? So it just becomes very difficult to maintain and sustain what you're doing, and that's why sometimes in the game it slips, because you're either out of breath, a little tired, or your matchups are a little off because the opponent is able to sustain what they're doing. So getting a guy back like that, and Bobby later, that's huge. I mean, it's huge. It's huge.
Did you go to Ottawa last night?
No, I was not there. No, I had one of my few nights off with the kids, and so I took care of, I went to see a practice, and yeah. Yes, I've asked. Some days I don't, to be honest with you, some days I've got so much to worry about here that but I think yesterday was the first night, and what I've heard is that it was an unbelievable show. The place was packed. It was extremely physical, to say the least. So it was a man's game, and everybody was very pleased, except for the fact that some of our guys got injured. So Yarrows got injured. Lejoie got injured on defense, and we all know Chabot's not playing now. He's got a groin injury, and so yeah, now they're going to be taxed on D down there. I don't think they're gigantic injuries, but might be taking them out of some of those games that are coming, I guess.
What's your plan for Sweden? You're going to bring us forward.
Right now, I'll be honest with you, we pushed everything to tomorrow to really decide on things. Like and I wanted it that way. Right now, it's Detroit, period. First 5 minutes of Detroit. The rest, before and after, I don't want to hear about it.
First 5 games of the year, you led the league in goals against.
Yep.
Carlson. Since then, you've gone to 8 in goals against. You have Eric. I know you're missing some other guys. What's changed?
Exactly what I just explained.
Okay. But you do have the world's best defenseman in your lineup, shouldn't you?
Which has had no summer, no training camp, and basically 4 or 5 practices with the team to get his game. which is absolutely unrealistic for any human being and of any league, even without an injury. So you got a guy that's going to have great moments, and you got times of whoops. That's his training camp right now. That's where we're at, and you know, he's given us a lot, and right now we have to be realistic. It's going to take time for him to get this complete game and everything else. That's exactly what I expected. But we're not going to look at him and blame that on the goals against. That's not it. We have a team game. We have a team game, and in our team game, whether it's because he's in the lineup or whether we've won some games and thought we were, you know, going to get a lot of goals and unconsciously thought that it was just going to breeze through the defensive game, it's not happening, because the defense is hard working, nonstop, relentless game, and the minute we let that go, because we think we're going to score more goals than the opponent, we're done. We've tried it last year, and we were done, and happened last game, and we were done. So our defensive game has to be better, and it's an individual side of it, and there's a collective side of it.
You have a veteran lineup. Does that help you deal with ups and downs better? Like if you have
Yes.
you know,
Yes, plus, you know, you always have to watch out with the vet thing, because you can have vets that are not very vets. And we don't have that. We're lucky in the sense that you can have a guy that's 35-year-old and he's very immature. And you can have a 22-year-old that's extremely mature. So it really is more about not just the experience part of it, but the personality, the leadership side, the intangible side of it. And I think as a group, we're way ahead of last year in that respect, like miles ahead of last year. So I could see it, how it's been handled, and guys are not happy about last game, and they know why, and they're anxious to get on the ice and get going. So it's not where last year is like, okay, what went wrong? Like what's going on? We know exactly what went on. We know exactly what our mistakes were. We know exactly what we need to do. But there's a huge part of it that I don't have to do anymore, because the culture's been set and our leaders have been terrific at it. And that's where specifically the guys that we have and the group that we have has done a terrific job since the beginning of the year, except for one game to be able to, and even then, last game, we got it back at 4-3. We were looking really good in that second period, but then mental lapse here, and then boom, it's gone. So I think just be able to sustain and maintain that game where you just don't give it to the opponent, even though you're not having a great day. It was a bad day last game. Can't make a pass, fall, and all kinds of things were happening. But you're going to have those days. Everybody does. How you're going to manage it when you figure out that you're having that day is what we have to learn from last game, and our guys have been really good at that. And I think last year was a year where that's what it was about. You know, Phil Jackson talks about different stages of teams, and you know, the stage 4 team and a stage 5 team, and that's the difference between a stage 4 and a stage 5 team. A stage 4 team is up for the big challenges and you're ready, and when you're normalcy, you feel the urgency. When things are not going well, you're able to reload and get things back to something that you can manage. That's what we did last year, go from 4 to 5, and we got to do that again. But I think right now it's already on its way with our leaders doing a great job. It's not just character, it's the way they're managing it in there too. And I think we've built a great culture that way, and we need to rely on that, and I need to trust it too.